Hi, I'm Ken Mingus. Welcome back to Mingus on Tech, where we talk about what's hot and what's not in technology. And what's hot this week is Mac OS Sierra and apparently Pokemon Go. Keith, we're taping. No, we'll get to Pokemon Go at the end of the show. We got to go for the important stuff first, but I know that it's hot. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Put it down. All right. So what we're going to do is talk first about Mac OS Sierra, which is Apple's new operating system. It'll be out in final form this fall. The public beta is out now, and I've got Mike and Keith, especially Mike, to talk about Mac OS Sierra and find out what's new and what people who might be trying it out this summer should look for, and what people who will get it this fall should look for. So you've been using Mac OS Sierra. How is it? Is it stable enough to use day to day if you want to be a beta tester?
It's stable enough to give you hope for the fall. You know.
Well, you always talk about these being the summer of bugs.
The summer of bugs every year, but this year is not that bad.
Okay.
This year isn't that bad. I mean, between all of the devices, Mac OS, Watch OS, iOS,
iOS 10.
Yeah, it's they all. I mean, it's beta. You know, it's beta.
Yeah.
But it's you can see where Apple's heading with this. It's going to perform really well on at least the current hardware and the next generation hardware.
Okay, so in terms of the look of the operating system, it really hasn't changed. I mean, they haven't done anything funky with like fonts or, you know.
For the most part, no. I think they cleared the last couple of version updates.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, they've smoothed over what eventually, like, what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like the dust is starting to settle.
Okay.
But you know, now it's just introducing features like bringing in Siri.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about that because I know that's the big upgrade this year is that Siri is now integrated into your desktop operating system, which means you can now talk to your computer instead of yelling at it.
Boy, can you!
But I don't yell at my Mac because my Mac usually does what I want it to do.
I yell at my Mac less than I used to yell at my PC.
Okay,
I mean that's always a good sign.
That's called progress.
Yeah.
All right, so Siri is now part of Sierra. So what kinds of things can you do with Siri when you're talking to your computer?
Well, you can do a lot of the things that you can do on the iPhone and the iPad. So you can launch apps. You can ask for weather, time. Siri is still as sassy as ever before.
So Siri will talk back to you or make snarky comments?
Yes, she will. She'll volunteer snarky comments every once in a while. But there's a lot of Mac-specific features, which is where it really goes. You can find pictures of like certain scenery or certain locations. But again, that's also in iOS. But you can find files. You can actually take those results of those files if it's something that you're going to ask constantly and pin those results into the notification area.
So it's sort of contextual, like I need to find all of the files that I've written today, and then when you get that, can you drill down a little further?
Yeah, so you can, it kind of remembers the string of thought.
Okay.
And so you can refine searches with additional questions. For instance, I can say, hey, show me the pictures I've taken last week, or show me the pictures I've taken last week at Martha's Vineyard.
Now, wasn't that part of the natural language part was part of the last update too, where
the natural language
was typing it in,
the
right?
bit of an introduction. It was like a tease.
Yeah.
Last year's El Capitan.
You had to type it in, but it could understand contextually, what you were saying.
So it feels like they took that feature and then just added it to Siri?
That feature seemed like the first step to getting I guess Siri on the Mac, and this is full blown Siri. I mean, this is as powerful on the Mac as it is on iOS.
Do you think Siri's gotten better?
Yes.
In its ability to search, because every time I still use Siri on my phone, it never gets the answers right.
It wants you to go to the web. I can look that up on the web for you.
Yeah, and that's what bugs me. Now I've accepted that, and I use Siri more for, hey, do this thing for me.
Right.
Like set an alarm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great at setting alarms.
Right. Yep.
Right. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So I think when you move to the Mac, I will probably use it more for that type of purposes, like perform a function for me on this computer.
It allows you to quickly multitask. You can basically you can control certain functions without actually stopping what you're currently doing.
So you can basically you can use the keyboard to type something or work on a document or whatever, and say also, Siri, I need for you to find this.
Or Siri, play music, or Siri, what's the weather, or adjust the volume, or send the email, or read my latest email, or hey Siri, how do you spell that out?
Okay.
You can spell.
Will Siri actually spell words for you?
That
could be handy.
Yeah.
Because I'm always, if I need to know how to spell words, how do you spell dog? Siri could probably get that one right.
probably know that one.
I did
by
know.
now.
I would hope that you would know.
I
that
find
one.
Siri still a little iffy in the car, and again, this is iOS 10, not the desktop. But with CarPlay, when I'm trying to send text messages, I would say about 70% of the time she gets it right.
Yeah.
But there are these, and a part of it is road noise, the way you say something. So you mean,
But you asked a pretty generic question. You said, has Siri gotten better? And the answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah, okay.
Has it gotten better from the searching for answers side of things? Because I know that it feels like on the other end of the spectrum, the Google, the Ask Google thing,
right.
They will, if I'm like, hey, who stars in this? And you immediately get the answer rather than let me look this up on the web.
See, Siri does sports lookups, movie lookups. It depends. If Apple's focused on it, then it does it fairly well. But it depends on their scope.
I would like to think that now that Siri is part of the desktop, that obviously you're getting more information in, because obviously every time somebody asks a question and either gets the right answer or doesn't get the right answer, that goes into the algorithm for future questions and answers.
Right. They learn from every request, essentially, is what it comes down to.
So you've used this for how many? A couple weeks now?
Yes.
Do you find yourself integrating Siri into your day-to-day stuff, or are you just trying to use Siri as a testing?
I've gone
playing with it, testing
on my Mac. I've gone without Siri for so long that it's like, I can do that with Siri. Like, I don't have to open the Reminders app to put in a reminder, to give myself a reminder. I can just ask Siri to do that now. I don't have to open iTunes to launch a playlist or shuffle music. I can just ask Siri to do that. So it's kind of like relearning, because the problem is you're breaking habits when it comes to...
You're adding a whole new interface, basically, for communicating with your computer.
That's
it's not
exactly
just trackpad and keyboard. You got to be talking to it.
Can you open apps that are not Apple apps?
Absolutely.
Open anything.
You said Apple Music to start a playlist, but now I'm on Spotify. Can I use it to say, hey, play my
I don't have
Spotify
installed, but it's just launking an application. I mean, even with speakable items, I'm pretty sure that you're able to.
I'm not really sure if it can do that on iOS.
It should be able to.
It should
be.
You can launch
I can't imagine why Apple would make it only work for Apple apps.
Right.
I mean, because you would be restricting Siri so much that people would probably never use it.
But again, I think there's an assumption out there that's. I just assume that it can only do Apple stuff, so I won't try it. I won't even try it with.
Well, that's the thing. You have to try it. If you're just going to give up.
Yeah.
I give up easily.
Don't give up. No, you don't. I've seen you playing Pokemon Go. All right. So Siri is obviously one of the big advances for Sierra, but there's some other things that may be a little less obvious to people who may be trying it out.
There are a bunch of across the board improvements. Some of them are Photos. The Photos app has memories, facial recognition now,
which is kind of cool, but also a little scary. The whole facial recognition thing, depending on how you feel about conspiracy theories, could be a little nervous.
No, that's cool. Universal tabs, optimized storage, picture-in-picture, just a few things.
Picture's video, right? So if you want to watch something in a video, you can get a little like on the iPad.
If you open up a web, a web page and you see a video, instead of having that web page open up in a little corner, whatever, so you can see, you can just pull the video right out, just put it in a corner.
Well, that's how you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, it's really neat. There's a few other things that are there, but what I really like is the device integration between all the other Apple products.
Being able to copy and paste between mobile and desktop.
There's auto unlock if you have a watch. So that's nice. You don't have to enter a password. The Mac senses that your watch is near, knows it's you, will automatically authenticate. Universal clipboard, copy on the iPhone, paste on the Mac. That's even right now in the beta. That's
do you have to be on the
handy.
same Wi-Fi network, or is that Bluetooth, or do you know?
I think I have been on the same Wi-Fi network every time, and I have been within Bluetooth range of devices every time. So
one or the other.
Right,
but it works.
But it works, and it works really well, and it's just a beta. So that's really nice. Shared desktop and shared documents. They've expanded iCloud to support. You have your desktop here. You have your documents on your desktop, and now if you have multiple Macs, you can.
You're at work on your Mac. You can access the documents there.
Exactly. It basically takes the documents folder and the desktop folder, and then puts that data across your Macs. Basically, to keep it synced.
One of the things too I've noticed is this whole idea of optimized storage, which Apple has. I think they talked about just briefly.
That's right.
How does that work?
Optimized storage takes older files or older files or old system files that's
you no longer need,
that are not being used or no longer needed, and it pushes those to Apple servers. So then it could access them whenever you need it without actually taking up local storage.
So it frees up room on your hard drive?
It frees up room in the hard drive by using Apple servers to store files you didn't even know were there, or to delete files that are no longer valid or no longer needed.
Got it.
Locally.
Okay.
So it's we'll look into it when it comes to the
Is that something that you turn on, or is that automatic?
I'm pretty sure it's an app or a feature that you can go through and actually select
like files and folders.
Yeah, you go to your system preferences, I think, and there's something there for iCloud where you can sort of designate the kinds of things you would want stored.
Yeah, I've been focusing on certain features and writing about certain features, and there's other features
AKA
that I'm like
Siri.
Right, and there's other things that I'll get more into once the betas become more toward final, once they become more and more stable.
Can I jump in just nope. You mentioned the automatic login. Was that only with the watch where it authenticates? Okay, so if I don't have the watch, that won't work for me.
Right.
But with the iOS 10, I think there is I remember when Scott was here and we were talking about the WWDC stuff. He said that something with it won't work with a phone. But
I'm not sure. It might actually work with iOS 10 if you've got the phone. I know that one of the
things he wants is that notification thing where you turn it on and the notification goes away immediately.
Right now, it's just the watch. It's auto unlock with the watch, and I really like this feature. Yeah. That's one of the every time I write my watch articles, I always mention this software called Mac ID, which does something similar. You walk away from your Mac, it detects that your phone and your watch, or basically your phone is away. It's because it has a Bluetooth. It's established a Bluetooth connection. Once it sees that you've walked away, it automatically puts on the screensaver or locks your Mac. Then when you walk back to your Mac, it recognizes the connection and automatically or alerts you on your watch. You press a button, and it's logged you in before you even sat down.
So the only way, basically, if you've walked away from your computer, that someone else could get into it is if they cut off your arm and bring the watch with them.
Oh, yeah. We plan on doing that.
In which case, you've probably got other issues. Okay. As we wrap up, Sierra, any other last tidbits before we move on to Pokemon? I know that sounds great. Look, I don't dictate what's news, but Pokemon is hot, so we got to talk about it. Yes.
Pokemon. There's a bunch of things, but apparently we have more pressing issues. So let's talk about Pokemon.
So basically,
I'm going to include you in this conversation because we got some interesting.
So the bottom line with Sierra is that the beta is out. It's available if you sign up on Apple's website and want to be a beta tester. Remember, it is a beta. You don't want to put it on a production machine.
Right. There are bugs. It's nice and stable for a beta.
Some are small bugs.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it will be out in the fall. But for now, pretty good reviews from what Mike is seeing. So now moving on to the real news of the week. Pokemon Go, an app that shows up on your Android or iPhone.
It's Android and iOS.
Has been out now for about 10 days and apparently has taken the world by storm.
It's amazing how fast this app just blew through to the top of the charts.
Yeah, they say they're encroaching Twitter numbers. Or
passing more users than Twitter.
And more users than Tinder. People are doing, they're abandoning Tinder.
Tinder, what's that?
It's some sort of dating app, I believe.
Okay. I've heard of it.
So, over the weekend, all these people started playing it.
Right.
And so, at the beginning of the week, you already had this wave of news. And then all of a sudden, you saw the next wave.
Then there's the sad news
the
and
sad
bad news about
is like, this person found a body while they were looking for Pokemon.
We should explain for anybody who might not know what Pokemon Go is. Pokemon, as you may recall, was a game in the 90s. If you've been off planet
for a week.
If you've been on the moon. Pokemon was a game in the 90s. Pokemon cards, I never played it. You're younger. Did you ever play Pokemon in the 90s?
No, I've never got into it. You know what? I know a lot of people who are. I tease, but I know a lot of people who are into it.
Yeah,
and, it's just another.
All right, so this is a new version of the game that basically uses augmented reality, which I do think is very cool.
Right.
You can access your camera on your device, walk around, and the game will superimpose little Pokemon critters on your phone screen so that you can then throw a ball or something and capture them.
Right.
And I mean, the augmented reality is pretty cool because you can look around and see where you are. However, the problem is that as people are wandering around, parking lots and driving their cars and going to places like Arlington National Cemetery, which yesterday said, please don't play this game at Arlington National Cemetery or the Holocaust Museum.
Yep.
Right.
People are wandering around and getting into trouble. I mean, as you started to say, somebody found a body or something?
Yeah, there were reports of somebody stumbling upon a body when they were out playing the game. We've heard
that's not not going to be fun for a 10-year-old. That's just not going to be a good.
There were teenagers that were luring other players into like shady areas, and then they
robbing them, right? Somewhere in Missouri, I heard something about that.
That was again with the media, they're going to focus on a lot of the negative parts of it. Yeah. So you started seeing those stories, and then you started seeing the tech writers came in on Monday, and they were like, oh my God, the privacy issues.
There are Senator Franken, in fact, has asked what is going on with Nintendo and Niantic in terms of the data they're collecting, and who's going to be able to access that data. Because I mean, you've got a lot of information on your phone, and if you're handing it to your 10 or 12-year-old, maybe their phone, they know where you are, they know account information.
I mean, because it accesses the camera, it accesses GPS data, because it needs that information to kind of put you, to
triangulate and tell you where you are.
So these are all the roads that are around us, around the office.
Right.
But what's more interesting is that people have been writing about, well, it accesses the camera too as you're playing the game, and you say you're indoors. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're now taking pictures of the insides of your house. That image gets stored on the database somewhere.
Though? Is it being transmitted?
That's the question.
There's a lot of
because I know there's a lot of I know there. You have to use your Google account to sign up.
Yeah,
or that's one of the options.
There was apparently a glitch because
it gave full access, but they fixed it.
Glitch.
Well, they fixed it so that it's now less access.
Right.
But you're still accessing your phone and you're still accessing the camera and the GPS.
Right.
And there's a social sharing aspect to it. So you can, if you are taking a picture and sharing that picture, you're sharing the inside of a house.
Right. So corporate information. If you're wandering around the halls,
conspiracy theorists out there are saying, "Oh, well, this is an NSA project."
No, seriously. Yeah. Speaking of conspiracy theories, apparently at some point in the '90s, Intel Q, which is the CIA's sort of fund for startups, was involved in was invested some money in either Niantic or Nintendo or something, and so there's an entire body of people out there who think this is a CIA plot to track us with our phones using Pokemon Go.
Well,
is that black helicopters I hear?
Where's your tinfoil hat?
But I mean, these are the people who are also posting to Facebook about privacy issues.
Everything,
right? It's like,
well, again, you get the whole gamut, and people love a great craze and fad, especially us in the media. I mean, we just love.
Well, I will confess, because I'm going to be talking about this today.
This was research.
That I did. This was for research. Did download Pokemon Go yesterday. It was just for research purposes. I'm not a gamer. I didn't play Pokemon in the '90s. And it's kind of fun to wander around the halls and find little Pokemon critters. I found 2 of them on the way to the bathroom yesterday here in the office. Who knew they were here?
Right.
I didn't play with it last night. I will probably delete it when we're done, because I don't have time to do this.
Right. Now,
but I can see how people would get immersed in it. That's the whole point.
And again, the goal of the game was to get people out of the house and actually play.
But they're also using drones now.
The weird part is that now people are trying to cheat with it by attaching it to a drone and then flying the drone around.
Like you do.
Now, last night I was showing
that. Like you do, of course.
So, last night I was showing
everyone's got a drone.
I was showing my kids the game, and so my daughter was in the back of the van, and she was actually playing it while I was driving.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not supposed to be playing it while I'm driving.
Please don't.
But she
at least let me know if you're on the highway when I am. If you're playing this game.
I think that if you go at a certain speed, the game notices this, and you're like, no,
anything
we're not
above 80 that shuts you off.
But there were videos of a guy using a drone about it. So you're a drone guy. I'm sure you would figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, I would absolutely hijack my drone just to find Pokemon.
What's interesting too is that this whole augmented reality thing, they attached itself to a known IP,
right?
Global brand Pokemon.
Yep.
The success of this is you're only going to see more. I mean,
agree.
Disney finds out about this. Disney starts developing something like, I would much rather go out trying to find Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy. Pluto, all of those, because they own Star Wars and Marvel too.
Yeah.
Like you start seeing
you can find stormtroopers behind in your closet.
Fight stormtroopers at the office. I mean,
well, okay.
Well, again, we're probably at an age where we weren't really into Pokemon. We've got some younger colleagues who love it.
Yeah.
They remember it. My kids are playing. They have the cards, but they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But again, Star Wars, Marvel, Disney.
What I like about that,
you're going to see a lot more of these games.
What I like about the Pokemon just is the Go app is the fact that it's Nintendo taking their properties and then finally putting it on iOS and Android.
Yeah.
Finally taking their intellectual property and then making something of it.
This feels very much like a 21st century app, and it is the augmented reality, and I think it does open the door to not only more games like this, but also to down the road to virtual reality. it puts it in people's hands, and they can start to see how this could be useful to them. Not maybe just as a game, but
yeah. I mean, you're going to see advertisements, and you're going to see local businesses trying to attach.
Hey, look, there's a billboard for
something. Catch a rare Pokemon if you come to this coffee shop.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to, like I said, future Nintendo releases. I want to see where they go with this.
You want to see where they go with either Zelda or
Mario.
Yeah.
Why, Donkey Kong. Well, hey, why not? They got all of that.
But aren't people
run down the street and avoid that barrel?
Okay, but also aren't there? I mean, maybe it's apocryphal, but the idea that people are walking into walls because they're looking at their phone, they're walking into traffic. I mean,
I did feel really weird walking in my town because I dropped off my son for a karate practice, and then I walked around because I have nothing to do for about an hour. So I was like, I'll try to get some exercise and walk around. And I was like, there are 3 churches in town, so maybe this is where some of these
they try to set them up in areas that people might gather.
Yeah, it's like public places, monuments,
museums,
and for some reason churches are a big area.
That just seems.
I think they want people to go back to church for some reason.
There's a hidden agenda.
But like just walking down the street, just doing this, and it felt really weird. And then I saw a couple of the people. I'm like, I don't know if they're on their phone, if they're listening to music, or if they're playing Pokemon Go.
Somebody saw me using my phone this morning at the gym and thought I was playing Pokemon. I was not. I really, really wasn't. But that's what people.
And we want to do the Linda shout out.
I wasn't.
Linda, we don't know if you can play this.
And by the way, Linda, in case you're watching, your 3G phone will not play Pokemon because you don't have the latest operating system and you can't get it. So if you want to play Pokemon, you got to get a new phone. All right, so let's wrap this up. My final question is: Pokemon Go, menace to society, or fun-filled, carefree way to spend a few hours? And the answer cannot be yes.
I can't even go down the middle on this.
No. You can go down the middle, sure.
Why not both?
You can go down the middle. Exactly. That's why it can't be yes.
I think the menaces will be addressed. I think they've already done that with some of the privacy stuff. I think you're going to see another week of stories. This is the story of the week.
Yeah.
The hardcore players will continue to play it. I think the game itself needs a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think there was a trading
rough around the edges.
There was a trading component where you could start trading your monsters in the original game and the card game.
Yeah.
There's not yet on this. I think once people, they're going to be like, well, now I have all these monsters. Now what do I do with them?
Release them. Pandora's box.
So there's going to be a trading component at some point. So
all right. So in general,
and then I think you're going to see the growth of more AR games as more properties.
So basically, what you're saying is fun-filled menace.
As long as, again, I'm a parent too, so I've got kids to worry about, and so I got to monitor what they're doing as well. And
your thoughts, Mike?
You're not a
menace to society.
You're just not a 90s kid, right?
Yeah.
Listen,
he is a 90s kid, but he's just a
never got into
Pokemon
Pokemon, huh?
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah,
you want the Zelda or the?
He's not into it.
Yeah, give me the late 80s.
Okay.
Give me I was around for the original Nintendo.
Okay.
So give me that. Give me those properties.
I don't think it's a menace to society. I do think it opens the door to some probably very cool technology.
What about like live action Pac-Man?
With
your streets.
There's that movie.
Isn't that
like
Waze?
That movie.
Wait, wasn't Waze doing something similar?
Pixels. It's like the movie Pixels.
Oh, don't even start on that.
Yeah, let's not ever
let's avoid that
conversation.
Mention.
All right, so I think we'll wrap it up for now.
But Sierra OS, great.
Sierra, 2 thumbs up from Mike. Pokemon, we'll see how it works. Keith, thanks for taking a break from the game that you can talk to us about it. Mike, thanks for being here.
I didn't catch any.
That's a wrap.